Everton fans, because Frank Lampard is being considered for the job. That's by the Everton ownership to be their next manager. Of course, Rafael Benitez was sacked on Sunday. He's expected to get an interview for that position. We don't know the time scale of that, but of course Frank Lampard is out of work, so it'll be easy if they want to speak to him. We are also told, and this is no surprise, that Wayne Rooney has also been discussed. Wayne Rooney currently doing great things at Derby. Frank Lampard in the past did very good things at Derby before he left Derby to go to Chelsea, but Lampard is being considered by the Everton ownership. Wayne Rooney being discussed as well. So, Nabeed, what do you think of that? We've been discussing various potential managers for the role at Goodison Park, but now Lampard is definitely on that list.
Well, I mean, we discussed who is the right man for the job, and I don't think Lampard's name crossed any of our minds, really, in terms of who we thought was a good fit. I still believe Duncan Ferguson is the right man for the job, and if it isn't him, then Wayne Rooney's the go-to. I don't know whether Lampard can come in and change the destination of where this team and this club is going, but it really depends, because you know how football is and how stories are. It's almost a year since Frank Lampard was sacked, so it's almost like them stories sometimes come all the way back round, and here he is again.
Lampard was saying to Gary Neville, wasn't he, recently, that he doesn't want to sound arrogant about choosing clubs, but for him it has to be the right club. I look at it and think, it's a great club. If Frank Lampard got this job now, I mean, it's still a great club. It's a massive club, but as Rafa Benitez would say, and he's pretty much said in his statement, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of players they need to get rid of. They're 16th in the league.
Well, when
What's
you look
happened there?
Well, exactly the magnitude of the task in hand, and Frank Lampard will have a job in his hands. Do I think that Everton are going to be relegated? No. But where's the future of this club? How does he, if it was to be him, obviously he's only being considered, might get an interview? Well, actually, what is the future? How does he help this team of players jump back up into the top half of the league, start to compete and win some silverware as well? One thing I will say, I want to know from the Everton fans, use the hashtag transfer talk. Frank Lampard, is he the man for the job for you? What has he done already, and what can he do? I don't think we should think of him as a player. Let's think of him as a manager and what he's actually managed to do.
I'd say he's fresh, and I'm getting the impression from a lot of Everton fans. We talked about Roberto Martinez yesterday and this morning. He's not fresh. They've had him before. A number of Everton fans have said, we don't want Roberto Martinez back. Everton fans, they don't want to be divided anymore. They want to get to Goodison and look forward to going and enjoy it. That's why I feel the Duncan Ferguson factor comes in, and maybe a director of football coming in first. But no wonder people are keen on the job.
I mean, you do get in touch, Everton fans, and you have been over the last few days. But Nabeed, are some people, because there has been some people writing him off, are we too quick to write him off? Because he did do well at Derby. They lost in the playoffs. He went to Chelsea, and it's generally considered that he did a good job. It's just that Tuchel came over and improved them, as maybe being quite harsh on Lampard.
I think the difference between Rooney and Lampard here is Lampard went to a Chelsea team that had good players and were heading in the right direction. He went to Derby, and if I'm not wrong, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they were in the exact same position when he got there, and they're also in that exact same position when he got them into the playoff positions. So, and then on the flip side, you've got Rooney, who's gone to Derby, who are in a terrible state, and he's doing everything he can to drag this team out there, which is where I feel Everton are in terms of the Premier League. And I think Rooney's shown that he can do this sort of patching up job and drag people over the line, and he's got an association with Everton fans. I don't know if Everton fans still have that admiration for him, but does Lampard have that? Does Lampard bring that?
Does Rooney feel, though, in a way that maybe it's best to stay at Derby for now? At the start of the season, he kind of had nothing to lose, because it looked so bad for Derby. But he's impressing everyone. And are the Derby players feeling like a bit of weight off their shoulders? We're going into this game, we're probably going to go down. We're in a bit of trouble here. Do they play with the pressure? I just think maybe it's best for Rooney to stay at Derby to the end of the season, but I'm sure Wayne might say different.
Well, James is saying here, using the hashtag, I'd choose Rooney over Lampard, but I'd be happy with Lampard. And that word happy there, whatever happens next with this club, they need to get the fans on side, because there's such a fraction between lots of fans right now, whether that's who they want as the next manager or how they've experienced the last 199 days it was. But James also goes on to say, I just feel Rooney understands the club and the fan base about what is expected. A positive for Lampard is that he will test players from the under-23s.
There's that as well. And if you see what's happened at Aston Villa, Steven Gerrard, Philip Coutinho. I'm doing my homework on this club. I've come for Steven Gerrard. You know, we've seen it with Luca Dean. Left Everton to go to Aston Villa, but again, they mentioned Steven Gerrard. Do younger players or players look at Everton and go, I'll go to Frank Lampard's Everton?
Si says no to Lampard, not the right fit, needs someone who knows the players because some of the players are bad eggs right now. That's Si's words, who is an Everton fan. Ross says the difference between Rooney at Derby and Rooney at Everton is that he's got players who are ready to graft at Derby, and he questioned, do Everton have the same? So just to recap on that, Frank Lampard is being considered by Everton. He is going to be interviewed, or they would like to interview him, but Wayne Rooney is also being discussed as well. An absolute flurry of texts has come in. Blair says, Lampard, no, not for me. It has to be Big Dunk. Stephen says, we want Big Dunks. Lampard couldn't do it at Chelsea. And Clive says, Duncan Ferguson and Wayne Rooney. A lot of Everton fans are saying that the two of them should be together, Rooney and Ferguson, at Goodison Park. Right, more on this as we get it. That's big breaking news from Everton.